Good afternoon, fans. This is your girl from Mel'S Mat Chat. How is everybody doing? And welcome to episode 275 of the podcast. Hopefully everybody's having a great week. I'm wishy-washy at this point. A lot of going on in my personal life. Tend not to discuss it. I will eventually. Trust me, I will. You know that I am an open book, but right now there's really nothing to say at this point. Again, I didn't watch Raw 30. I didn't watch anything like that. But because of my executive producing and my executive decisions, I want to say thank you to Ringside News, who's going to be now your go-to to come in here and give you the rundowns of Monday and Friday. So with that in case, I will be doing a full-fledged preview and prediction because I do still follow it on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. I can't escape it. You know, I could unfollow it, but it would be a disservice to me. So on this podcast, we're going to cover Dynamite, Rampage, and last Friday's SmackDown. So hopefully everybody's going to be enjoying the Royal Rumble on Saturday, and you will be getting my preview predictions at noon on Saturday. So look forward towards that, and I will be right on here with the review, and I want to again say thank you to Ringside News because they're going to be the ones who are going to be my eyes and ears in my preview and predictions. So you know, off this right off the top, you'll know where those reviews and stuff are coming. Now, for Dynamite had Mark Briscoe. Shocking that this was like 48 hours prior to Dynamite. So that was a really good match. If you please go to Ring of Honor's website, you can buy the t-shirt. 100% proceeds will be going to the Briscoe family, and that's basically about it. Again, I will be doing my preview prediction. That will be posted at noon on Saturday. This is actually Thursday evening, so we haven't even gotten through Friday. We're on Thursday at this point. So I'm recording this on Thursday, so bear with me. If there's anything that late breaking, it will be on the Ring of Honor, the Royal Rumble preview predictions. If it has anything to do with WWE, but that's basically about it. Really, it's plain and simple. It's going to be clear cut. With the whole thing with what is it called? The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which is going to be next week for NXT. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that Tuesday I may put it out on a Saturday thing, or I may do the review. The preview predictions on involved of episode 246. So it depends because I'm not watching it. So as of like that, when that goes on, I don't have Peacock anymore, and I'm done. I'm done because it's a shame that I had to get rid of it because of fucking Vince McMahon. Now, this will all change if Comcast takes over it. I'll fucking instantaneously resubscribe because it's going to then remain on Peacock. Everything will be on Peacock. SmackDown, the whole gambit. So, Um, let's get this started. And so I'm not here very long because, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yes, it is of what it is. So, please, boys and girls, children of all ages. Do me a favor. Please go check out the people over at Harry's.com and stock up on all your toiletry and shaving essentials. Please go check them out. Also, please, if you have a beard, please go check out Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com and get all your beard essentials right there. It's a one-stop shop. Also, please, if you are sick and tired of always being so thirsty and you're really ready to murder your thirst, please go check out the people over at Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com. You can get the original spring water, the original sparkling water, and you get 3 flavors, which are mixed berry, lime, and mango orange. And you can visit the website at liquiddeath.com. If you are in the market for a really strong ass coffee with the lowest acidic rate, do yourself a favor and go check out the people over at Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. They have some flavors out there. Go check them out. They also have espresso, which is not bad, but I wouldn't purposely go out and get the entire count of it. Just have it as like a backup in case you run out of your death pods. And they also have righteous merchandise. So go check them out at deathwishcoffee.com. Also, please be on the lookout for next month. I think it's the 2nd of February. Beginnings from HOG Wrestling, House of Glory. They're having JTG versus the Samoan Werewolf, which is Jacob Fatu. He is the HOG World Heavyweight Champion. So they're going to be duking it out, and there's going to be much more. Probably there's going to be a memorial for, or a dedication of that show to Jay Briscoe. I'm almost 100% positive that Mark and the entire family of the Briscoes will be there. So that's just another special thing to look at. Also, it's going to be on Fight TV, so please go get that Fight TV subscription. Seriously, it's going to pay for itself legitimately. First freaking, what is it called? Special that's out there. So go check that out. Also, please, again, I'm going to be releasing my preview and predictions for Royal Rumble at noon on Saturday. Please go and check that out. Now, I'm having problems with Twitter because somehow supposedly I'm spammed or something like that. I try to fix it. Try to get my blue check mark back, which that was was my pride and joy, other than my son. So hopefully that we can fix this and get this situated. Let's start off with last week's Rampage. Last week's Rampage were coming from the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. And we started off with all ego Ethan Page with Stokely Hathaway and Isaiah Cassidy. Also with Matt Hardy versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Page hit Jack Perry with a lariat outside the ring. Page got into Hardy's face, and Jungle Boy jumped at Ethan Page with a tope. Ethan Page whipped Jungle Boy into the ring barricade. Page dropped Perry face first across the ring apron. Back in the ring, Ethan Page smashed Jack Perry with a backbreaker. Jack Perry and Ethan Page brawled outside the ring. Ethan rammed Jungle Boy's head into the steel ring post. Ethan Page pressed Jack Perry overhead and dropped him on the mat. Page brought Perry down hard with a cross-arm iconolast. Ethan Page was looking for the twist of fate, but Jack Perry countered, backing Page into the turnbuckles. Jungle Boy dropped right hands on Ethan Page, but after the distraction from Stokely, Ethan nailed Jungle Boy with the Twist of Fate for a near fall. Ethan Page ordered Matt Hardy to attack Jack Perry. The FTW champion Hook came out onto the ramp. Jungle Boy uses the distraction to roll up Ethan Page for the pin. Stokely Hathaway blamed Matt Hardy for the loss. Ethan Page said Matt Hardy owed him. Page challenged Jungle Hook to a match against him on Dynamite. So that was last night. Well, 2 nights ago, sorry. Tony Schiavone interviewed Mad King, Eddie Kingston, and Ortiz. Ortiz, my friend Eddie Kingston has completely lost it. He's fed up with the mind games from the House of Black. Or should I be talking to you, Schiavone? I should be talking to Eddie. Why don't you come out here and we'll settle this like men, face to face? Kingston came out to the ring with a steel chair in his hand. Ortiz, you were going to hit a woman. In our world, you don't do that. You know that. I know for a fact that's not how your mother and father raised you. We're coming out here with a chair. You know that bothers me most. What would our mentor Homicide say? That you're a coward? You're a fake tough guy? Eddie heard enough and smacked Ortiz with the steel chair. The House of Black gotten everything they wanted, said Excalibur. So I'm hoping that actually, if you really want to get this, I'm hoping that maybe Eddie Kingston joins the House of Black. Worlds colliding. The Embassy. Brian Cage versus Willie Mack. Brian Cage grabbed a side hook, trying to neutralize Willie's agility. Willie Mack rallied back with a Samoan drop. Willie Mack is like a video game character, said Jericho. Brian Cage swept out Willie's leg. Cage charged at Willie and kicked him in the face. Cage drove Mac's spine into the ring apron. Willie popped up Cage and said, down with the sky high for a near fall. Cage scored a massive thrust kick. Cage connected with a jumping knee strike and then a powerbomb on Willie. Cage spiked Mac on the drill claw and pinned Willie Mack. He earned this, and now he'll face Bryan Danielson this Wednesday on Dynamite, said Tony Schiavone. That's right, he'll have the MJF bounty of Danielson's arm, replied Excalibur. My knee is itching, I'm sorry. TBS champion Jade Cargill and Layla Gray versus Jahida and Jordan Vanity. Jade delivered an uppercut and then tagged out to Layla Gray. Layla used a neck breaker but allowed his opponent to make the tag. Layla sat out with a facebuster and went for the pin, but Jade insisted she'd be tagged in. Jade won via pinfall after landing Jaded. Main event time. Jericho Appreciation Society, Daniel Garcia versus Action Andretti. Sammy Guevara joined the broadcast booth for the match. They have more people on fucking commentary. What the fuck? We don't need these people. Jericho doesn't need to be there. He trust me, he doesn't need to have training on commentary. He's got to get the gab. Us New Yorkers are like that. And don't get me started. He is not from fucking Winnipeg, people. He was born legitimately 20 minutes that way. All right? And that's fucking on the North Shore of Long Island. He was born in Manhasset, New York. New York, okay? He's a New Yorker, not a Canadian, a New Yorker. If he's got dual citizenship, fine. But he's a New Yorker. And don't at me, people. That's why he's allowed to fucking vote in our presidency. Thank you very much. Because if he was a Canadian, he couldn't do that. All right? I know the laws, okay? Please? Thank you. Garcia charged Action Andretti and put boots to him. Garcia chopped at Action, but Action fired back with chops of his own. Action hit a tornado on Garcia for a near fall. Action Andretti wiped out Garcia on the floor with a speeded tope. Avoided a dropkick and drilled Andretti with a clothesline on the floor. Garcia whipped Action into the steel ring steps. Action used a backbreaker, neckbreaker combination. Action wiped out Garcia with a moonsault to the floor. Action followed up with a split-legged moonsault for a near fall. Garcia and Action exchanged kicks, and then Action sat out with a neckbreaker for a 2 count on Garcia. Garcia sat out with a pump handle for a near fall on Action. Garcia was looking for the Dragon Tamer, but Action cradled him for near fall. Action connected with a tornado off the top rope, then a running shooting star press for the pin on Garcia. That is not what we planned, Sammy, said Sammy. A very tough loss for Jericho Appreciation Society, added Jim Ross, and we go right into Dynamite. So again, please go check out the Ring of Honor webpage, and you can get your Jay Briscoe t-shirt, and 100% goes right to the family. In between this, it was known that Danzig announces a multi-year, multi-territorial exclusive broadcast deal with All Elite Wrestling. Congratulations to them on that. Going right into Dynamite. Of course, I gotta blow the motherfucker thing up because I can't fucking see. I'm as blind as a bat. Seriously. It's ridiculous. Dynamite came and was emanated from the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. We started off with the Lee Sex Gods, which were Sammy Guevara and the Ocho Chris Jericho versus Action Andretti versus and Absolute Ricky Starks. Andretti and Guevara began the match for their respective teams. They traded holds, countering one another until there was a standoff. Finally, Sammy blasted Action with a thrust kick, having baited him in. Action used a springboard dropkick on Sammy, but Sammy fired back with a corkscrew dropkick. Sammy chopped Andretti in the chest. Sammy flew over the top rope with a twist and landed on Action. Sammy went for a top rope hurricanrana, but Andretti, sorry. I keep thinking of Andrade, sorry. Landed on his feet and followed up with a Spanish fly for a near fall. Starks and Jericho tagged in. They exchanged chops in the center of the ring. Starks hit Jericho with a lariat. Starks countered the codebreaker with a catapult on Jericho. Starks strutted his stuff on the top rope, but Sammy jumped off the turnbuckle with a cutter. Jericho covered Starks for a 2 count. Sammy jumped off the top rope, but Ricky defended with an up kick. Action tagged in and nailed Sammy with a big elbow strike. He followed it up with a backbreaker, neckbreaker combo. Action flew onto Jericho with a tope and then served one up for Sammy. The ref was dealing with Jericho. Starks drilled Sammy with a DDT on Andrade, and Sammy collided in the center of the ring with running crossbodies. Starks speared Jericho. Jericho grabbed Starks' trunks and rolled him up for a near fall. Starks smashed Jericho with a Liger Bomb for a near fall. Action tagged in, cracked Jericho with a kick off the second rope. Jericho countered a split-legged moonsault by raising his knee onto Action's ribcage. Sammy tagged in was looking for a GTH, but Action escaped. Action ran to the ropes, but Jericho thumbed Action in the eye. Action used a reverse Hurricane Rana and then hanging neckbreaker on Sammy for a 2 count. Outside the ring, Starks rocked Jericho with the Rochambeau. Garcia cracked Action with a baseball bat, unbeknownst to ref R.B. Edwards. Sammy finished off Action with a GTH and then pinned him. Well, I have a question. I have a severe question. Why is the referees getting any spotlight? They should be a background player. The ref. That's it. We know who these people are. All right? They should not be stars. To work for WWE, they don't need to be doing it with the AEW. There was a video package honoring the legacy of Jay Briscoe. #DemBoys. We go to the TNT Championship match. Darby Allin versus Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews was wearing face paint. Julia Hart distracted Darby, creating an opening for Matthews to attack. Darby blocked a kick from Buddy and then tried for a tope, but Buddy intercepted Darby. Matthews bounced Darby off the barricades. Matthews attempted a running powerbomb, but Darby countered it, sending Buddy crashing into the barricade. Buddy Matthews pulled the ring scarf out from beneath Darby's legs. Buddy drove his knees into Darby with a meteor for a near fall. Darby went over the top rope with a stunner on Matthews. Darby followed up with a coffin drop to Matthews on the floor. Darby is holding onto the upper right leg, said Excalibur. The arena lights went dark. The lights went back on, and Malachi Black and Brody King were standing in front of the ring. Ortiz cracked Malachi with a bat, then brawled to the back with him. Sting blasted Brody King. Darby spiked Buddy with a reverse Hurricane Rana. Darby connected with a crossbody, but Buddy rolled through. Darby followed up with a crucifix bomb for a near fall on Buddy. The fans chanted, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Buddy connected with a combination strikes on Darby. Buddy had a Darby Code Red scouted. Buddy buckle bombed Darby and then curb stomped Darby for a near fall. I wonder who he learned that from. Mr. Seth freaking Rollins. Come on. I wish they were back. Fucking Buddy Murphy. Maron. Oh, it pains me every time. It pains me every fucking time. We know how tough Darby is, but it can't last forever, said Excalibur. Darby rallied back with a code red on Matthews for a 2 count. Darby was looking for the coffin drop, but Matthews defended, knocking Darby down onto the turnbuckles. Matthews climbed up, looking for a suplex, but Darby countered with a scorpion death drop off the ropes for a near fall. Darby nailed Matthews with the coffin drop and then pinned Matthews for the victory. Tony Schiavone entered the ring, interviewed Darby Allin. Ring of Honor TV champion Samoa Joe appeared on the screen to interrupt them. When this guy comes on the screen, you best be, you sit the fuck down, you open your ears, and you shut the fuck up, and you sit the fuck down. Samoa Joe, Darby, I'm coming to take everything from you. Know this, I'm coming to take back what's mine. The king will not be unsouped by a man like you. You will learn that winning that championship was the biggest mistake of your career. Sounds like something that Triple H would say. I think everybody that has come across Triple H will always and forevermore be a Triple H guy. That's just me. Even Adam Cole. Adam Cole will always be a Triple H guy. And I don't care what he admits to. You sit him down and you give him an opportunity. They're given the same contract and everything like that. And knowing that Triple H booked him the way he was been booked, guaranteed. I don't care. You take Britt Baker, DMD, out of the equation. He's going to choose Triple H over Tony Khan all day, every day. With the caveat of having William Regal and fucking goddamn Shawn Michaels as resources. Yeah, goodbye, Tony. And I'm not kidding you. You give him a lie detector, he's going to be with Triple H. So best believe that. Jungle Hook. Jack Perry and FTW champion Hook versus the firm's All Ego, Ethan Page, and Matt Hardy. Ethan Page was taken down by Hurricane Rana by Jungle Boy. Hardy and Hook tagged in for their respective teams. Page shoved Hook and then ran out of the ring. And I thought I skipped something. Sorry. Page shoved Hook and then ran out of the ring. Hook followed him out looking for a T-bone suplex. Page went for Ego's edge, but Hook escaped, and then Jack Perry hit Page with a toe bag. Hardy and Page doubled suplex Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy tagged out to Hook, and Hook swung for the fences with a lariat on Ethan Page. Hook turned Page inside out with the El Camino and then the T-bone suplex. Matt Hardy made a blind tag and planted Jungle Boy with the side effect. Hardy was going to attempt the twist of fate, but Ethan Page demanded to be tagged in. Page tried for his own twist of fate, but Jack Perry escaped and applied the snare trap to Ethan Page. Hook swept out Hardy's legs, and then Ethan Page tapped out. I think Ethan Page ego really cost him this time, said Shivani. Now, I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's goofy or not goofy. We have a therapy session. If this was running in WWE, everybody would be fucking shitting all over it. But it's this, and everybody loves it. I shitted on it. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it whatsoever. Family therapy session with AEW World Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim, and the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn, with Daddy Ass. He was asked when the Guns became so entitled. The Guns said, "There always came second to the Acclaim," said the Guns. Had time to make amends with their father, but they didn't. And that's why Billy adopted them. Daddy Ass said Austin and Colton took the easy way out. What is that you want? He's asked. The Guns said that they wanted the tag team champions, and they walked out of the session. Renee Paquette interviewed Hangman Adam Page backstage. Page, I know John and I are one-on-one. What's next for me is kind of impossible. To know out John next week in Ohio. Wheeler Yuta interrupted Hangman Page and said Moxley accepted, but first Page will have to face Wheeler this Friday on Rampage. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus the Machine Brian Cage with Prince Nana. Cage and Danielson locked up. Danielson kicked the inside of Cage's leg. Brian Cage backed Danielson into the corner and chopped at Danielson's chest. Brian turned Cage around and walloped Cage with roundhouse kicks. Danielson trapped Cage with the label lock. Cage reached the ropes with his foot, forcing the rope break. Danielson connected with a sliding dropkick, then a tope. Danielson jumped off the top turnbuckles with a crossbody onto Cage on the arena floor. God, I hate when he does that. Every single time that he does a risky move, I'm like, there goes his comeback. Like, seriously. Danielson looking to keep the win streak alive and get one step closer to the match with AEW World Champion MJF, said Excalibur. Back in the ring, Cage sent Danielson soaring with a German suplex. Cage put Danielson in a bear hug, but Bryan headbutted his way out. Cage cracked Bryan with a running forearm. Cage followed up with a shoulder breaker. Great job by Brian Cage, said Taz. Cage suplexed Danielson into the ring. Cage followed up with a German suplex for a near fall. Danielson fired up and superplex Cage. Ultra impressive by the American Dragon, said Taz. Danielson grabbed Cage's leg and put him in the ankle lock. Cage propped up and blasted Bryan with a thrust kick. Danielson managed to roll up Cage for the pin. Cage angered and went for his bounty, nailing Bryan after the match. AEW World Champion MJF came down to the ring. He grabbed a metal chair and handed it to Cage. Brian Cage placed the chair around Bryan's head and shoulders and rammed Bryan into the steel ring post. Oh my God, that was crazy and nasty. MJF downed with strikes on Bryan Danielson. Cage put Bryan's wrist through the steel chair to humanize him, and held Bryan's legs. MJF climbed the top rope until Takesha sprinted to the ring. MJF retreated up the ramp. Meanwhile, Takesha smacked Cage with a running knee strike. Doc Samson and Takesha checked on Bryan Danielson's arm and wrist after the match. Revolution's going to be a very fucking interesting fucking pay-per-view, and I can feel it in my bones. Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm. Due to injury, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, was not able to compete in what was originally scheduled as a three-way match for tonight's episode of Dynamite. Ruby and Toni traded forearms. Toni dropped Ruby with a high boot. Ruby backed up Toni into the corner with a combination elbows. Storm thumbed Ruby in the eyes and sent her crashing to the floor with a hip attack. Toni rammed Ruby's head into the steel ring post, and she whipped Ruby into the barricade. Back in the ring, Ruby gained momentum, planting Toni with a suplex. She followed up with a back heel trip to Toni. Ruby was looking for destination unknown when Toni grabbed Ruby's tights for a near fall. Ruby dropped Toni with a knee to the nose. The ref backed Ruby away from Toni, but Toni was just playing possum, luring Ruby in and rocking Ruby with a hip attack for a near fall. I don't know how Soho kicked out, said Taz. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD's music hit, and she walked onto the ramp. Toni was distracted by Baker. Ruby recovered, nailed Toni with destination unknown, and then pinned Toni Storm. Was she really hurt? We don't know. Was this a tactic? Possibly. MJF was in a locker room and he addressed Takesha. He told Takesha to stay out of his business or else there'd be consequences. MJF wondered how Bryan's limb was. MJF said his championship gave him the reason to get out of bed this morning. This belt turns my catchphrase into a fact. The belt makes me better than you, and you know it. You want to take this away from me, Bryan Danielson? Bad things happen to people who mess with me. Tonight was just the tip of the iceberg. MJF made a phone call, and next week Danielson will have to face former NXT Tag Team Champion, co-tag team champion Timothy Thatcher. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this fucking match for years now. I don't know if they've actually crossed paths when he was underneath the mask, but I am there for it. These are like two bulls or two goats are going to be bashing each other, and I'm all for it. Main event time. Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal. This match was requested by both men to celebrate the life and legacy of the late, great Jay Briscoe on his 39th birthday. Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman joined Excalibur at the broadcast booth for the main event, which I highly applaud. Mark body slammed Jay Lethal. Jay was quick to get back on his feet. Mark pushed Lethal back into the turnbuckles, but Lethal turned it around and chopped Mark. Mark and Lethal traded chops in the center of the ring. Mark connected with a kick to Lethal. Jay landed a drop kick to Mark Briscoe. Mark nailed Jay Lethal with a tat net breaker made famous by his brother Jay Briscoe. And just to let you know, Jay Briscoe is a former ROH world champion. And he had an amazing fucking feud with Adam Cole before he was to then go to WWE NXT to become the longest reigning NXT champion of all fucking times, baby. And I just completely lost my fucking place here. Mark delivered some of his kung fu off the top rope. Mark splashed Jay Lethal in the corner and landed an uppercut, and then the iconoclasm on Lethal for a near fall. Mark butterflied Lethal's arms for the Jay Driller, but Lethal fought out of it. Lethal countered with a lethal combination for a 2 count. Jay hoisted up Mark and dropped him down. Lethal followed it up with a lethal injection. Mark Briscoe rolled out of the ring to create some distance from Jay Lethal. Jay put Mark on the timekeeper's table. Mark escaped and nailed Lethal with a drop kick through the ropes. Mark Briscoe followed it up with a blockbuster on Jay Lethal. Mark Briscoe propped up Lethal on the table. Mark jumped off the top turnbuckle and dropped an elbow on Jay Lethal through the table. The fans are chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Mark attempted a Jay Driller again, but Lethal escaped. Lethal attempted the lethal injection, but Mark countered with 2 lariats. Mark spiked Lethal with the Jay Driller and then pinned Lethal. And we love you all. We love you, Jay Briscoe, and everybody came out. It was emotional, and this still fucking hurts. I'm not a big Briscoe's fan. I know of them, and I've seen their match with FTR, which I now appreciate even more so than ever. This is going to hurt for a long time. Again, I want to send my condolences to the Briscoe family, his daughter, his son, and his wife. Please, again, go check the shirt out. And I think there's almost like a GoFundMe page. I'd have to go through my tweets, and I'll retweet that, and because I gave $10. And again, please, keep them in your prayers. On to SmackDown, and then I can get you out of here for the evening or the afternoon, whatever it is. And I just can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. I really can't believe I did that. I'm sorry, my tablet's very, very slow. All right. Again, I want to say thank you to Ringside News for giving me the run throughs of each of the shows. So we're gonna go to SmackDown, and then I'll get you out of here. It's very simple tonight. Today. Tonight's SmackDown is set to feature a contract signing with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens ahead of their world title match at the Royal Rumble. For in-ring action, SmackDown tonight will see the Brawling Brutes taking on Imperium, as well as Sheamus and Drew McIntyre against the Viking Raiders in the first round of the SmackDown Tag Team Title Contenders match. SmackDown is live from the glorious city of Detroit, Michigan. The Bloodline is backstage where Roman Reigns refused to fist pump Sammy as they're coming into the arena. They were coming from the cars and stuff like that. First match, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre versus the Viking Raiders. The match kicks off with all four wrestlers brawling in the ring, and fight quickly spills outside the ring. Sheamus throws Eric into the barricade and back into the ring. Sheamus grabs Ivar and hits the 10 beats of the Bataram. Eric breaks it up but is grabbed by Sheamus, who hits Eric with the 10 beats of the Bataram. Between the two of them, Eric and Ivar took a combination of 24 beats. If you're betting the over-under, Ivar throws Sheamus to the barricade and hits with a running splash to the barricade. We head to commercial breaks. After that, the match continues with Eric covering off a neck breaker for a 2. Eric and Sheamus exchange stiff forearms strikes before Ivar tags in and hits strikes of his own, before tagging Eric back in. Sheamus hits Eric with an Irish curse, and McIntyre and Ivar tag in. McIntyre hits a lariat and then a shoulder tackle. McIntyre hits Eric with a belly-to-belly throw. McIntyre hits Ivar with a Michinoku driver into a cover that gets a 2 count. Eric tags in and makes a cover off a lariat for a 2 count. Ivar goes to the top rope, but McIntyre climbs up and goes for a suplex, but Eric makes the save. Sheamus then runs in to hit Eric with white noise, and McIntyre gets back up and hits the suplex. We go back from commercial, back live with Ivar hitting McIntyre with a series of back elbow strikes in the corner. McIntyre bounces off the corner and to hit a big lariat and then a future shock DDT. McIntyre counts down, but Ivar counters the Claymore with a spinning heel kick. Sheamus and Eric both tag in and hammer each other with forearms strikes before Sheamus hits a power slam. Valhalla climbs to the apron to distract Sheamus and allow Eric to hit a suplex and tag Ivar in, who hits a top rope splash and covers Sheamus, kicks out at 2. Sheamus hits bro kick to Ivar, covers for a 3 count, and Sheamus and McIntyre move on into the bracket. So they will be facing the winner of the Los Lotarios and Hit Row. Backstage, Sami Zayn sits down backstage with Roman Reigns. Zayn referenced their arrival in the parking lot and asks Reigns, is everything okay? Reigns says he saw how Zayn looked last week and he wants to know the truth. Zayn admits he was disappointing last week after not being able to prove himself by putting away Kevin Owens last week. Reigns tells Sami Zayn to leave the locker room and find his own bloodline, as the crowd is angry and confused as if this moment Zayn is kicked out of the bloodline or just out of the locker room. We come back from commercial. We have LA Knight versus Greg Jones. LA Knight's opponent is not the legendary Michigan State linebacker of the same name. This is evident as he quickly hits the BTF and pins in less time than it took me to type this sentence out. So then after the match, after the Titantron cuts out for a moment before the Firefly Funhouse returns as Bray Wyatt appears on the screen, hosting his terrifying kids show once again. The segment ends with Wyatt speaking directly to LA Knight in a dark and scary tone, saying he will see him at the Royal Rumble. The next for the tag team tournament for the SmackDown tag team titles. Hit Row versus Los Lotharios. The match begins with Humberto and Ashanti in the ring. Off an arm drag, Angel tags in Los Lotharios, hit a double team power slam. Ashanti tags in Top Dollar, who throws Angel out to the outside of the ring and hits a chop to Angel on the announce table as he scares Michael Cole for good measure. Humberto and Ashanti tag back in, and Humberto hits an Enziguri, and then Humberto hits Top Dollar with a dropkick to knock him outside the ring. Los Lotharios hit a double tope suicida. Back in the ring, B-Fab causes the distraction, and Ashanti gets a roll-up for 3. Winner, Hit Row. So they will be taking on the Bang Bros. I know. Please, we're not going there. If somebody has a porn fetish in WWE, can you just let us know? Then we know that this is not strange. Because we had the fucking, the sorority submission sisters. That was something to do with porn. Jesus Christ, do people use their fucking brains and Google the shit? I mean, come on. Back from commercial break. Back live with SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Meanwhile, she wasn't supposed to get this title. Ronda wasn't supposed to lose it until the Royal Rumble. Making her way out to the ring. Charlotte calls out Sonya Deville to go face-to-face with her if she has something to say to her. Deville comes out and Charlotte asks why Deville thinks she owed all these title matches. Charlotte says Deville calls her shot and lost by tapping out. Charlotte says Deville should be focusing on the Royal Rumble, but if she wants to fight Charlotte, Charlotte will fight her now. Deville rejects Charlotte's challenge unless Charlotte is willing to put her title on the line. Adam Pearce walks out to try to restore order, and with Charlotte back turned, Deville strikes Charlotte from behind and runs away as Adam Pearce looks very angry and surprised somehow. So let me get this straight. Sonya Deville keeps asking for title matches, but it was okay for Charlotte just to be handed a title shot. Meanwhile, she didn't fucking earn it. Please make this make sense. I can't. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Sonya Deville should have the title. We come back from commercial break. We have the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium for the SmackDown Tag Team Tournament. The match begins with Vinci and Holland in a lockup. Holland reverses an Irish whip and hits a hip toss, and Butch is then tagged in. Kaiser makes the blind tag and hits Butch with a side slam. Butch stomps Kaiser's elbow and Vinci tags back in, who hits a crossbody from the middle rope. Come back from a commercial break. The match continues live with Butch and Kaiser in the ring. Butch flips through a back suplex and tags in Holland, who hits a lariat, and then a running lariat to the corner. Holland hits a double suplex to both Kaiser and Vinci. Butch tags in and goes for a dive, but Kaiser rolls through. Butch grabs the ankle and locks in an ankle lock. Kaiser is able to get to his feet and break the hold, but Butch immediately transitions to an armbar. Vinci tags in and hits a springboard moonsault. Butch reverses a power bomb into a Hurricane Rana. Vinci for a 2 count. Butch hits a chop and then a forearm strike before flying off the top rope to hit a tornado DDT. Holland and Kaiser tag in, and Holland hits a headbutt and then a belly-to-belly throw. Vinci hits Butch with a brainbuster outside the ring. Vinci makes the blind tag, and Vinci and Kaiser hit an Imperium bomb, and Vinci covers for a 3. Imperium picks up the victory and is going to be facing the winner of either the winner of the Maximum Male Models and Legado del Fantasma. Speaking of that, go right into the next match, which is the Maximum Male Models versus Legado del Fantasma. The match begins with Mansois and Wilde in a lockup. Massey and Mansois throw both opponents out of the ring and pose together in the ring. Massey tags in and hits a kick. Off a blind tag, Legado del Fantasma hit a double team kick leg sweep and then the cover for a 3. Winners, Legado del Fantasma. Sami Zayn visits Roman Reigns backstage. Reigns admits he was wrong earlier, and Zayn is overjoyed that Reigns wants Zayn to stay in the bloodline. Reigns instructs Zayn to get the Usos and prepare them for immediate leave the area after the upcoming contract signing. Which, that wasn't a good idea. We come back from a commercial break. SmackDown returns for the live contract signing. Roman Reigns comes out to the ring accompanied by Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. As Reigns sits in the ring, Kevin Owens runs from behind and takes out Solo Sikoa before hitting Reigns with his stunner. The Usos ran out, but Owens manages to take them out too. Owens puts Reigns through the table with a pop-up powerbomb. Owens signs the contract, and Sami runs out to chase Owens out into the crowd. SmackDown goes off the air with the Owens standing in the crowd looking back at the bloodline with Reigns still down through the table. So that is that. That is that. We are now going to be on the precipice. Come on. We are on the precipice of the Royal Rumble, which is the road to WrestleMania. So things are just going to be going really, really crazy the next couple of weeks. And I just got to clear this because this is ridiculously driving me nuts. But yeah, it's the lead up to the Royal Rumble, which ergo's the road to WrestleMania. I will be doing a preview and prediction. I'm going to be recording it Friday night right after SmackDown. The notes will be provided by Ringside News. I want to say thank you to them, shout them out. Please go check out everything on my YouTube channel. Please do me that favor. Like, share, subscribe, turn on my notifications so when I go live, you know about it. Go check me out on my Twitter, Mel'S Mat Chat. That is also my Instagram and TikTok. Also, go check me out on Snapchat and Facebook. Please go check out Harrys.com for all your shaving and toiletry essentials. Go check out Maestro Classics at maestroclassics.com for all your beard essentials. Please go check out Liquid Death at liquiddeath.com and murder your thirst. Please go check out Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. And go check out HOG Wrestling House of Glory at hogwrestling.net. And go check out Beginnings, which are, I think, the third or the second. I know it's, I believe it could be the night before St. Valentine's Day Massacre from NXT. So go check that out, and it will be on Fight TV. And get your subscriptions. It's going to be paying off legitimately in no time. So I will be back here tomorrow at noon, and I will be giving you my preview and predictions. I will do it right after I hear that the last of the Hurrah Royal Rumble, everything is gone. Well, I'm gonna come and record, and then it'll be legitimately released legitimately right after. I'm sorry I can't go live because I have supposedly unstable connection, which I can't stand this. And then I will be out of all the news or everything coming out of the Royal Rumble and going into a St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And I will be back here with episode 276. So for 275, have a great Royal Rumble weekend. I love you all and stay safe, okay? Love you. Have a great weekend.